So I'm trying to learn my lesson from the last time I was filming in here and not lean into this fucking ceiling light. So anyway, this is real quick. It's not a lot. It's crazy how I went from being the guy that fucking didn't approve of the Vtec killer setting up to being like the fucking guy talking about this. Just like I was kind of like the guy that was talking about the K23 for a long time. It looks like that continues on with this. But anyway, point being said, on topic, right? The biggest attraction you hear about the Vtec killer setup, and this is actually one of the things I touched on a long time ago when I first covered it, and then also revisited that when I was like the pros and cons of Vtec killer. Eventually, I did start a playlist for Vtec killer, all my Vtec killer videos, but I never organized it properly. I kind of threw like a couple videos on there. I think all of them can be found in the K series playlist, so I will be eventually organizing it properly. So, drivability not being the best, and of course the fuel consumption because of much higher lift, and performance not being great on the low end. Well, yeah, you're essentially putting in what equates to a monster cam into your car. Yeah, you're going to suffer on the low end, and you're going to suffer on drivability and fuel consumption. So, and this is also one of those things I covered in the pros and cons of Vtec killer. But the one thing I want to double tap on is, like, if you're doing this for a performance mod, then it doesn't really matter. If it's a performance mod, if this is a go fast car, you're not going to live in the low end RPM range. So that whole suffer at low end doesn't really fucking matter. You're going to launch, and once you get a couple seconds into your race, you're going to be in the high RPMs in first gear. You get there pretty quick. And then at that point, you're shifting and you're not going to be dropping that far out. So you're going to be still within what the normal VTEC range would be regardless, right? And the benefit is that you have much higher lift over stock, and you have much higher lift over what you'd have for performance for the base cams. So yeah, the low end fucking not performing properly is irrelevant. Doesn't really matter in this circumstance situation. Another reason why I want to touch on this real quick again is because some months ago we had a guy that was up north. I guess there's another video. If you're watching this early, I probably didn't tag these videos. I'm going to see if I can remember to do it tomorrow. But of course, these are all going to be found if you look for them. Pros and cons Vtec killer, search in the search bar, you'll find it. Just when you're searching for the video, type VHP engines in there as well, and you'll find my video on the topic. Also, the other one is base model is like K24 base model Vtec killer. That should be in my like after car review video playlist or whatnot. Or again, search for that plus VHP engines, or just search Vtec killer VHP engines, and all the shit that I've tagged or titled that will pop up. So his car made 211 wheel horsepower with intake header and exhaust, and the Vtec killer setup on his stock low compression base model K24 block and stock K24 head. And what's cool is I'm looking and I saw another guy's video. It's a K24 base model and also intake header exhaust, and he made 212. So how consistent is that? Without looking at air temperatures, tuner, or whatever, same exact mods, same exact engine within one fucking horsepower of each other. That's pretty cool. So Vtec killer is the best way to cross the 200 wheel horsepower mark, especially if you're going K24. My original itch that I had that I couldn't really properly scratch with the K20 or the Vtec killer in the beginning was my beef with the people claiming 220 wheel horsepower with Vtec killer only on a K20 A3 block. And the K24 consistently makes 210 with a light modification, but the K24 also has more displacement than the K20 A3. This is something that is not a light factor that needs to be taken into consideration. 2.0 versus 2.4 is a noticeable jump. Also, I believe that even with the base model, the stroke is different as well. So there's facts there. But if you want to make 200 plus wheel horsepower on a base model and you don't want to spend fuck tons of money, this is the way to go. This is not the way to go if you want to just drive this car around all the time. And if this is your daily driver, this is a car that you want to do go fast stuff in. If not, you can not use the Vtec killer and you can just do bolt-ons and make 250 or 260, maybe 270 wheel horsepower. That's what you can expect from a base model. Even if you piston swap, you're still looking at maybe like 180 to 190. And I meant 170 if I didn't say that, my bad. So 160, 170, which is bolt-ons in your stock base model, and maybe like 180, 190 with the piston swap. Although once upon a time, I believe the piston swap would be enough to make the 200 wheel horsepower mark. It doesn't seem to be that's the case, but the Vtec killer does get you there. So again, another advocation, if you do high compression with the Vtec killer, you're looking at some very respectable power on a budget. All right, guys. So I'll just throw this out here right quick again too. Another little advertisement. I do have a K28.3 high compression block that's 11.81 compression, and they can very easily cross the 12 and change compression mark with very light modifications added. My last K28.3 high compression block is already has a buyer. It's being paid for, but I can still make at least one more. And the block is $890 shipped. It is the cheapest block that I currently offer, and if you use the Vtec killer setup, it'll easily make 220 horsepower. Like if you're using even with the base model head, the Vtec killer with that block easily make 220 horsepower, if not higher. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're seeing 230 with that kind of compression hike over the stock compression. All right, guys. So thanks for watching. Social media links in the description down below, and peace.